In the vast expanse of India's southeastern oceanic front, in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, one of the most vigilant guardians stands watch.
Here to take off.
INS Kohassa provides India with an unparalleled vantage point. This naval air station acts as a critical extension of India's eyes and ears in the Bay of Bengal and the eastern Indian Ocean. In the northern Andamans, it's a strategic sentinel securing India's maritime interests with the Indian Navy, Air Force, Army and Coast Guard. In part 2 of the Arc of Power, what makes this outpost in the ANC so vital for India's security and the country's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific? INS Saryu, a naval offshore patrol vessel, is our home away from home at sea. After sailing from Sri Vijaya Puram, which was Port Blair till September 2024, to Rutland Island, we now move northward about 200 kilometers or 108 nautical miles to Diglipur. We are heading to Aerial Bay Jetty. On the way, we pass Barren Island, home to India's only active volcano. It's approximately 135 kilometers northeast of the capital Sri Vijaya Puram. Barren Island is uninhabited and landing is prohibited. It's part of the volcanic and seismic arc connecting Sumatra and Myanmar. In fact, INS Karmuk and the LCU-52, two of the ANC's ships that we filmed during an amphibious assault exercise on Rutland Island, were one of the first to respond to the devastating earthquakes in Myanmar in March 2025. The two ships initially took about 30 tons of relief material to Yangon. INS Kohassa's location in the northernmost part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands gives it immense strategic importance. It overlooks a vast expanse of India's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, and is in close proximity to the Coco Islands of Myanmar. The islands are reported to have a Chinese presence. This geographical positioning allows for enhanced monitoring of the surrounding maritime area, crucial for maintaining India's security interests. The proximity to Coco Islands and reports of Chinese activity there adds a significant layer of geopolitical relevance to INS Kohassa's strategic role.
In many ways, the Andaman and Nicobar Command is actually our first island chain and the final outpost of India's defensive strategy. It is an adjunct to all the defense infrastructure that is available on the mainland, but also bolsters it and complements it in ways where it can then be used in the oceanic spaces for Indian interests, and not only that, in terms of partnership with our partners across the Indo-Pacific. I would add here that it would not be wrong to call it like little forts spread across the Andaman Sea and in the Bay of Bengal. And that's not entirely a coincidence, because when the Navy set it up in the 1970s, they called it Fortress Andaman, and the commander there was called the Fortress Commander, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He was called Fortran before that became the Andaman and Nicobar Command.
The Andaman and Nicobar Islands, including the area around INS Kohassa, dominate the Bay of Bengal and the crucial 6-degree and 10-degree channels, through which over 60,000 commercial vessels pass each year. This makes INS Kohassa vital for monitoring these critical sea lanes of communication, SLOCs. The sheer volume of maritime traffic underscores the importance of this region for global trade and energy transit, making surveillance and security a paramount concern. As we enter the Aerial Bay area, we pass the Ross and Smith Islands in the distance. The two islands are joined by a spectacular natural sandbar. Even from far, we can see crystal clear to gem green color water surrounded by tropical forests. The uninhabited Brush Island is closer. The Saryu sailors are busy preparing to anchor the ship off the Diglipur or Aerial Bay Jetty. INS Kohassa has sent a fast interceptor craft, FIC, to pick us up. It's a good opportunity to have a 360-degree look at our mothership. We then sail towards shore. Apart from naval and coast guard vessels, the Aerial Bay Jetty also has the indigenously built civilian ship Nalanda docked. It can accommodate 500 passengers with 66 crew and up to 150 tons of freight, which can be loaded and unloaded with a deck crane. It also has a helicopter pad. We then set off for INS Kohassa in Diglipur. Diglipur is the Tehsil headquarters of the Middle and North Andaman district of the Union Territory. Diglipur Tehsil's population is 42,877 according to the 2001 census. It is 290 kilometers north of Sri Vijaya Puram and it takes about 10 to 12 hours by road from the capital. That includes crossing over straits twice. agriculture, fishing and tourism are its mainstays. It is also home to Saddle Peak, which is the highest point of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands at 731 meters or 2,418 feet. Located at Shippur, a village on the North Andaman Island, INS Kohassa is a key naval air station operating under the Andaman and Nicobar Command. Commissioned in January 2019, it plays a pivotal role in safeguarding the archipelago and the surrounding waters. This air station serves as a critical node in India's maritime security architecture in the eastern Indian Ocean. INS Kohassa is named after the white-bellied sea eagle, a majestic bird of prey endemic to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It connects the air station to the local ecology and also symbolizes the sharp vigilance and strategic reach that the base embodies.
Victor Papa Alpha, read back correct, report ready for departure. Runway clear?
Runway clear.
Any bird activity?
Negative.
Victor Papa Alpha, clear for takeoff, runway 36.
Currently, INS Kohassa operates short-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft, primarily the Dornier and helicopters. These aircraft are crucial for a variety of missions, including EEZ surveillance, anti-poaching operations, search and rescue, troop and equipment transportation, and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief missions within the ANC's area of responsibility. The Dornier is well suited for maritime patrol and surveillance, providing essential eyes and ears for the Indian Navy, Air Force and Coast Guard in this strategic area. It can take off and land from both ends of the runway. INS Kohassa is being developed as a dual-use military and civil airfield, aligning with the Government of India's Udaan, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik scheme. Significant infrastructure upgrades are underway, including the extension of the runway. Initially around 1,000 meters, plans are in place to extend it to 3,000 meters, approximately 10,000 feet. This extension will enable the operation of larger aircraft, including wide-bodied civil and defense flights. The ability to handle larger aircraft will significantly enhance the base's operational flexibility and reach, accommodating fighter aircraft and the Poseidon P-8I for long-range maritime surveillance.
INS Kohassa has a 1 kilometer long runway, and we sustain routine and detached operations of Indian Navy, Indian Air Force and Coast Guard aircraft. Extension of the runway is planned to 3 kilometers in the near future, and we are also expecting commencement of civil flying operations by the beginning of next year to promote inter-island connectivity.
Though there are no flights today, the station does drills for any fire emergency. plans of modernization also include the installation of advanced navigational aid equipment and upgrades to the air traffic control tower. They will enhance the air station's efficiency, safety and ability to handle increased air traffic, both military and civilian. In 2024, a Naval Communications Network Center was established at INS Kohassa. This is crucial for strengthening the ANC's overall communication and operational capabilities. Enhanced communication infrastructure is vital for effective command and control, enabling seamless coordination between different units, platforms and services operating in the region.
NCN Center caters to all the major communication requirements of INS Kohassa, as this is a very remotely situated station. Thus being, all the telecommunication and data-based communications are being operated through this center. The center is part of 33 centers which are established across the nation as part of Navy's Network for Spectrum drive.
INS Kohassa, along with airfields in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, are being developed into full-fledged fighter bases. The base is a self-contained air station with its own fuel storage, repair facilities and dedicated manpower under a designated commanding officer.
Kohassa is the youngest and the 9th air station of the Indian Navy, which got commissioned as recently 6 years back on 24th of January 2019. In a very short period of time, the station has grown leaps and bounds in terms of the capabilities that we can see. Kohassa is strategically located in a very important position because we are very, very close to Coco Islands. Coco Islands from this place is just 55 nautical miles, that is under my radar coverage. So you can imagine the kind of importance this island holds. And because of this importance, we are getting a lot of priorities in a lot of infrastructure works which is happening on these islands and this base. Therefore, you can imagine in the future, around 5 years hence, the PATIs, MiGs and all sort of fighter aircraft will be able to land, and this will add a punch and a big boost to the military capability.
This upgrade will further solidify India's air power projection capabilities in the region, allowing for the deployment of fighter aircraft to protect India's maritime interests and respond to any aerial threats.
As far as Andaman Nicobar Islands is concerned, I would consider it as a great gift that the country has, because Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal is a huge area, very, very huge area. To operate ex-mainland is near nigh impossible in terms of number of aircraft required and the logistics involved. But fortunately, we have a landmass in the middle of this thing, through which not very far from where the sea lines of communications are moving. Notwithstanding the fact that China has made inroads into having a kind of a at Myanmar itself, road moving and the ship movement from there. But fact of the matter is, whatever movement has to come from the west towards this side, it will be passing through in between Andaman Nicobar Island and India mainland. So they are well within the strike ranges of specially equipped Su-30s with the BrahMos missiles. So we can pose a good amount of threat. So that threat will continue to be there. And with this Andaman Nicobar Island and it's a tri-services command, the progress is slow but good. We are holding exercises with different countries also, and it's a good thing that it is progressing in the right manner. People may consider it slow, but it is the slow and steady which wins the game. We are not looking for war with anyone, but we are looking for greater integration, which is happening and should continue to happen. And once more assets are procured, maybe the long term think of having this theatre equipped with aircraft at Andaman Nicobar will bear its fruit, but it will take time. There are 3-4 long runways there, but to just have those runways fit for fighter operations, it's also again a big task. It will take time, I don't see it happening in next 1, 2, 3 years, but at least maybe 5 to 8 years from now, we will be in a position to say that yes, we are operating fighters from all the 3 big bases that are there.
The base has an up-to-date library, and we make a quick stop to check it out. And then we head out to town as the sun sets to a medical camp set up for locals.
In INS Kohassa, we have adopted this local village of Shrikhande. We conduct various outreach programs, not just a medical camp. We conduct even the Shramdan activities which are organized at regular intervals. We even conduct visits to the local school at Diglipur, at Shrikhande, and medical camp also plays an important part of this outreach program. As far as possible, with whatever medications that are in excess in our unit, we try to manage with whatever supplements and extra medications that can be provided for the specific diagnosis of each patient.
Back at the station, a well-equipped gym keeps the team fit. As does a basketball matchup under lights.
I am also the sports officer of the unit, and we have multiple sports facility. Right now we are at the basketball court. Additionally, we have a football ground, a badminton court, a volleyball ground, and we have a full-fledged gym. So the men are always full of josh. They are ready to charge, always on and off the field.
Dinner at the mess again brings into sharp focus the tri-service nature of the command. While the IPL auction on TV highlights the integration of world stars, here also personnel from the 3 services rub shoulders on one team. It's almost 11 at night when we return to the Saryu. But our night is far from over. A few winks of sleep later, by 5 a.m., we are back on the Saryu's quarterdeck and on an FIC heading to the jetty, even as the sun also slowly, sleepily rises. Before moving back to Kohassa, we stop off at a destitute home for locals run by the missionaries of charity. The station has adopted it.
Actually, we get things that we needed basically. So a daily basis that we need, like sugar, rice and Maggi, and some medicines that we go to villages. So it is very great help that we get medicine. I just came back yesterday from Satais. There are so many poor people that we gave them basic medicine, so they are very happy. Actually, we take care of the people, those who are nobody. So everyone, those who come here, they have no one. That is what. So we take care of them. You are part of and parts of our family. Thank you.
we head off back to another family at INS Kohassa. Today, the ANC's top brass is flying in to review the island's defences and some reinforcement exercises the units have been carrying out. The first Dornier brings in top officers of the command. Then the Commander-in-Chief Air Marshal Saju Balakrishnan and other officers fly into Kohassa. They drive off to inspect the area that is being looked at for the runway expansion, while we head off to where the army has its defences. One line of defense is laid in trenches. They help monitor visual range, offshore movement, and act as positions against potential threats. The ANC's top leadership is reviewing this line of defense.
सामने से आने वाले दुश्मन के टैंक ताकि दुश्मन के ट्रूप को बर्बाद करना साथ ही एयर पोस्ट सिटीजन को लोकल प्रोटेक्शन देना साहब सिटीजन गणतंत्र आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। They can last for almost 7 days. So these are generally used for emergency operations.
फर्स्ट एड दिया गया उसको अभी कैजुअलिटी बंदर पे लेके जा रहे हैं सर।
कैजुअलिटी बंदर कहाँ पे है?
ये सब कमांड पोस्ट के पीछे तक।
The officers set off alarms simulating tripwires which would potentially be rigged to explosives. The top brass continues to be briefed once we reach the Kalipur Beach, also a turtle nesting ground. A quick reaction team of Marine Commandos, Marcos and Geminis in the sea, and their counterparts from Mi-17s in the sky display quick ingresses onto the beach. As part of the Andaman and Nicobar Command, India's only tri-services operational command, INS Kohassa acts as a crucial component of India's first line of defense on its eastern maritime flank. The integrated nature of the ANC ensures a coordinated approach to security in this strategically vital area. This unified structure allows for seamless cooperation between the Navy, Army, Air Force and Coast Guard. The Commander-in-Chief of the ANC oversees all operations in the region, reporting directly to the Chief of Defence Staff, the CDS. This hierarchical structure underscores the strategic importance placed on the unified operational theatre and its role in national security.
One of the northernmost points in our AOR, this is a place called Diglipur. We also have an airfield, as you may be aware. And if you look due north of us is three small islands. We call it East Island, Landfall Island and then West Island. And further, about approximately 70 nautical miles from where we are, is the famous Cocoa Islands. And the further Little Cocoa and Prepares and Honored. So this becomes a very vulnerable point for us, because to give you the magnitude of the challenge that we face, the command has an AOR approximately about 720 to 730 kilometers in length, starting from the northernmost point till the southernmost, which is Indira Point. With the limited resources that I have to defend this in entirety. Obviously, it's not possible with to hold every inch of land. So today, what we had sort of tried to demonstrate to you is one such situation where we are in a company defended locality, as we call it. One of the battalions get deployed here along with other elements of the Army and the Navy, which is integral here. The exercise that you saw was in three phases. One, we have attempted to show you an infiltration. Second is that we have a reinforcement. And third is that within the company located defences itself, there may be contingency which arises where we have to relocate between them. So that's what we have tried to demonstrate.
If you want to elaborate a little bit more, sir, on what you've talked about in terms of your operational challenges here.
Yeah. So the operational challenges are that we are over a period of time been equipped with limited resources from the services, and conventionally we expect enough warning notice to be available to us, and then resources to be mobilized not only within our island but also from the mainland. That has its own challenges. This is how we always envisage battle to take place in the ester years. But as we go through, we realize that rapidity of mobility and how he is able to bring force in a short time of frame is the modus operandi which any enemy will obviously attempt to do in this case, and we have to be smart enough to react. So one big challenge for me is to identify which are the critical areas which I can hold in strength and which are the contingencies which I must anticipate for. So this is management of the limited resources and my timelines is what I always try and attempt to match.
You would be looking at various factors being enhanced and when needed, right?
Yes.
If you want to talk about that, I mean, I know it's a standalone tri-service command, but in situations would you have looked at getting assets from all three services from other places if needed?
So one major challenge is that any island in this case should have the capability to induct forces both by sea and by air, and that has been one of the shortcomings that we have identified for ourselves. So like typically if I look at Diglipur, INS Kohassa as it is known, the runway length is small. I need to expand it. We are in work in progress. One of the objectives of my visit today was also to take a stock of where we are and how to take it forward in the shortest time frame. So we need to build more airfields out here, longer ones. We need to build jetties which are capable of doing that. Now one is my plans. Second is the execution phase. Obviously in the execution phase, the biggest challenge is that I have a very limited, I would say, vendor base out here who can undertake this work. Not many people are forthcoming to come and build out here. And most important is that the resources which are required to build any such infrastructure have to come from mainland. Even the soil which is needed to sort of reinforce or even to fill the existing water bodies and creeks, they have to come from mainland. So this has been the biggest challenge that we identified for ourselves. We work with the administration in a big way to sort it out.
You talked about the north, sir, and we know the general geopolitical situation even towards the east, but the threat perceptions and how do you look at it, if you want to enlarge on that?
Yeah, so when we look at existing scenario as it is, we can classify them broadly into two. One is a conventional threat, which we are constantly keeping track of. We get a lot of inputs on the conventional threat. What has been the mobilization of our likely adversaries in this region and things like that. So we have a fair amount of visibility into that.
And an eye has been kept on.
Yes, it is always there, and we get
multi-dimensional eyes.
Yes, absolutely. So we get input from friendly foreign countries and our own integral ISR sources. But my biggest challenge is the sub-conventional threats which occur, and they are predominantly three, because one of my KRAs is also to ensure that the EEZ is protected completely. So there is a lot of attempt of poaching in this region. It is a very, if I have to say, if 30% of India's EEZ is in this region and the coastline being like this, there is a lot of potential for somebody with vested interest to come in and attempt to take away from that. So a huge amount of our resources go in preventing that. So anti-poaching operations take place on a regular basis. We typically take around I would say a month one operation, where we mobilize in full using all our resources including the Coast Guard, and we have been quite successful in capturing huge number of people. Every year we capture hundreds of people. We capture boats, and as we speak, even last night we were at it, we have managed to capture some drug running syndicate, and we are simultaneously tracking some of the Rohingya population, which is the second point that I want to discuss with you.
Exactly. I mean, not only a few years back when the situation built up in that area, and since you pointed out Cook Islands are so close, but in recent past, the change in dynamics within Bangladesh, has that contributed to illegal?
In a significant way, because as it's emerged, initially the Bangladesh was quite willing, and the Cox's Bazar area being the location of the Rohingyas. But last 2 years, what we have seen is that the livelihood out there got affected. One of the reasons was the 2022 cyclone which hit them. So there is no scope for them to survive out there, is our understanding at this stage, and therefore there is a lot of movement of them starting from Cox's Bazar area in very vintage dinghies, 150 to 200 of them.
Dangerous
they live
for them as well,
on the deck for days at sea. Their attempt is to go across into Indonesian islands. Indonesia has so far been welcoming them, and our aim in this region is to provide them all humanitarian assistance. So whenever a Rohingya movement, we give them fuel, we give them food, we give them at times medical aid or even mechanical assistance, and we ensure that they safely transit from here onto Indonesian waters. There have been many times that they have got adrift. It needed us to sometimes assist them in towing into the waters, and then allow the sort of drift to take them. The government policy is very clear on this. We will assist them in all, but we are not going to allow them to come into our territory.
Again, Air Marshal, thank you for the privilege and talking to you again, and I know there will be a couple of more opportunities up ahead.
Yes, of course.
Thank
you. Thank you.
In the face of increased regional challenges and concerns over the People's Republic of China's growing maritime presence in the Indian Ocean, INS Kohassa enhances India's ability to project power and maintain maritime domain awareness in this strategically important region. The air station contributes significantly to India's efforts to ensure freedom of navigation and safeguard its interests in the Indo-Pacific. The strategic location allows for rapid deployment and sustained operations, bolstering India's overall maritime posture. The proximity to Coco Islands and the potential Chinese presence there introduces a significant geopolitical dimension, emphasizing INS Kohassa's role in monitoring and potentially countering any adversary in the vicinity. Also, the immense volume of commercial traffic navigating through the nearby channels highlights the economic and security implications of this region, making INS Kohassa's capabilities crucial for both India's national and international stability. After 2 days at INS Kohassa, we head back to the Saryu and our onward journey southwards in the Andaman and Nicobar Command.
Very good.